right now. We'll just hold on. And of course, there would be airplanes. Right. Hey, Shireen. How are you? Hey, Hectoria. Happy Friday to you. I wanted to be more well prepared and kind of dressed up, but I said it's Friday night and I've had a very long day, so just keep it casual. How are you guys? Yeah, just a little bit. I really am so grateful that we've had a chance to kind of connect here on YouTube, but I thought a live would be better. So yeah, I'll see if more people want to come in and join, and then for those of you who are here, I'll just share a little bit of my story. And hopefully, someone will leave inspired. Something I share would, encourage you or help you to know that it's not impossible, even if you get into some really terrible situations. You can make your way through the debt. You can make your way through just bad financial decisions. Anybody, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I'm just waiting to see if a few more people come in. Hey, Veronica. Hey, Dee. Happy Friday. Drink some water. The little ones are sleeping, and you might hear the oldest one in the background making noise. Mom life. So I don't know if it's my internet connection. I'm still kind of figuring out how lives work, but I saw 6 people and now I see 4, so I don't know. But this would probably be recorded and uploaded on the channel after we end the broadcast, and it'll be a separate video. So I guess if you're watching the replay, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. Oh yeah, Veronica, listen, last night was a struggle to lay the youngest one down. So I know, girl, I know. And I'm surprised they sleep early on a Friday.
You don't know those players. you just born. You don't know those players.
So in the background, my son is watching the original Space Jam. So
I watched
all right.
the movie like 5-10 times.
Good. We'll watch it again. I'm gonna just share a little bit of what I rehearsed because it's a long story and I tend to talk a lot. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me, if I'm at liberty to disclose it, I will, but I would be happy to hear any questions you guys have. And yeah, I love the original Space Jam too, because there's just nothing like it. It's so fun. It's so fun. And it was more enjoyable the first time. All right. So I was the youngest person in my graduating class in high school because my birthday came late in the year. So while everyone else who was graduating was 18, I was 17. And I didn't know anything about money. I saw my mother use credit cards. I saw my stepfather use credit cards. working overtime and double time just to pay off the credit cards, but no one explained to me how they work. No one gave me the rundown before I went to college. So, no, you can't drink that. Drink that one. But
This one,
this one is mine.
okay, but you already drank that out.
In Jesus' name, take this one.
You already drank that
So I got loans, obviously, because I wanted to go to school. I had a lot of grants and scholarships, but I still needed to take out loans because I decided to go to a private school about 4 hours away from where I lived when I graduated high school. So when I got there, when I got to the school, I lived on campus. I wanted to enjoy, the campus life, and, being a freshman, everything was new and exciting because I had never been that far away from home. Again, I didn't know what to expect. And the first thing that I encountered when I got on campus is some kind of Kate Spade. They were like selling different purses and all kinds of stuff. And of course, they offered credit cards because I didn't even know who Kate Spade was at the time. I didn't know anything about the designer, but I loved purses. I loved wallets and all the stuff. So I signed up for a credit card, and that's how it was just a downward spiral from there. So that's really how it started. I did not get any information about how to use credit cards or whatnot. I had all of these loans, thousands of dollars in my name, and it was just, that was it. Then I spent most of my college, the first year of my college career, just trying to catch up with credit cards. Then I got a cell phone on my own. First time ever having a cell phone in my name. Back then it was Verizon, and I think they had contracts. You sign a contract, you're locked into the contract. But what happened was I didn't realize that you can't just switch early. Like, you have to pay termination fees. I think it was like $175. That was a whole thing. And no one told me. I didn't know who to talk to about it. My mother didn't talk to me about it. She didn't explain to me, how these things work. I just started getting into it, and that's what happened. And then after I left college, I was academically discharged because I wasn't doing well. Because I had a lot of unresolved issues, to be very honest with you. This is why the channel is called Mind Your Money, because money is not emotional itself. But if you are not stable, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to be disciplined and have structure, it can mess up your finances. And that's what happened to me. Having unresolved childhood issues, things I wasn't dealing with, which is what caused me to not do well in school academically after a while, because I still wasn't dealing with the things and no one was showing me how to get through it. So buying things, going out with your friends, trying to impress people, because I was still, 17, 18 around when I started college. So I wanted to be in the in crowd. So that was another thing. I was looking for validation through these people and through buying stuff and looking good when I didn't have it because I was swiping the card. Then I ended up getting store credit cards. So I had the student loans. That was my first ever debt. Then I had the credit card. It was a MasterCard. I don't remember who the issuer was, but that was so I could buy the Kate Spade stuff. And they only gave me a $300 limit, but I maxed that out because I bought all kinds of stuff. Then that's good, D. That's good. That's good, because I'm trying to train my oldest right now to learn about it early, so he doesn't have these kind of advances coming to him, and he thinks, okay, it's easy money. It's really not, unless you know what to do with it. I got credit cards from Victoria's Secret, and what's that place that Gabrielle Union works with? New York and Company. Express. I started signing up for credit cards, and I was running up the credit cards. And at first, because I was building credit at that time, I would get $300, $500 limits, maxing them out just so I could look good. And I left college again in my sophomore year. The second semester, I didn't go back because I had to, go back home. And remember, I still had the loans I had to pay back. And they give you 6 months after you leave to start paying back those loans. And I did that because when I went back home, I got a really good job without a degree. And I said to myself, I'm going to go to community college, take some classes, get my grades up, and then I'll go back and transfer to a 4-year school, finish getting my first degree. So with multiple credit cards, maxed out, with student loans now trying to repay, even though the payments were like $70 a month and it wasn't even touching the principal. I fell in love. I got into a relationship, and everything was going well for me at 19, going on 20 years old. Everything was going well. I was taking the community classes. I planned on going away. I got my first apartment. I didn't have any children at the time. I didn't own a car, didn't finance car, anything like that. It was just credit card debt and student loans. But then once I got into that relationship, again, still having all of those unresolved issues, it led me to leave my job that I was working at, making really good money. Again, without a degree, I was making pretty decent money, for a woman my age. And then I broke the lease on my apartment. So that's another issue. I ran up more credit cards just to transition from where I lived to New York. And oh God, I was so focused on that relationship and not dealing with the issues that I needed to confront and deal with, that I wasn't paying attention to the loans. I wasn't paying attention anymore. I didn't have any financial structure. So what's going to happen if you don't pay attention to your money? It's going to just leave your fingers. Like, as fast as I would get money, that's as fast as it would go away. And again, because I left whatever, I want to say, security or like family that I left everybody. So I had no one except for the person I was in a relationship with when I moved hours away. And I was ignoring collection calls. And remember, I canceled cell phone. I terminated the contract early, and I had to pay that fee. So they started sending me notices. But because I moved and my name changed, child, I would just ignore the calls when they found my number, because anytime you apply for a bank account, of course, they're gonna find you when you apply for a job. Like, so many things were happening, and I was just not focused. Like, if you watch my videos where I budget and I'm so detailed and I'm going through every line, it's because I've learned to pay attention to where every dollar is going. When I was in my late teens, 19, 20, 21, you couldn't ask me how much was your last paycheck and where did it go? I couldn't tell you, except for maybe McDonald's, going out, nightclubs, or just trying to catch up on last month's bills because I was overdrawn. So my financial story is this, basically. And this is what I want to inspire people to pay attention to, where your money is coming from and where it's going, especially when you're younger, because we think, okay, we have time on our side and you can just do whatever you want now and worry about the consequences later. But those consequences cost me a lot of interest, a lot of hurt and pain, a lot of embarrassment. It's not worth it to not pay attention. Even if it feels like, okay, this is a little tedious, me looking at my budget, writing down all these numbers or typing in all these numbers, like, it really makes a difference when you look at what is going on with your money and checking yourself, checking your heart, checking how are things going on with you. That's why it's mind your money. Like, pay attention to how you feel and how you think, because that just doesn't affect your money. It affects everything in your life. And I was a product of just disorganization and dysfunction for a very long time. So, Jordan, through the door there. So from after, I got into that relationship, I was doing the worst of everything you could think of. And creditors, they finally caught up to me. But I separated from that person. And then, hey, MT, how are you? I separated from that person, and I had a child. I had my first son, my oldest at the time, and he was just a little bit. He was 2 years old at the time. I was 24, probably closer to 25 at the time. And I was on my own. Remember, I moved far away from any family that I would, would have been close to me. So I was just trying to make ends meet. So, and I didn't finish school yet. I was trying to get back into school. I was between jobs. I forgot. I'm I'm so nervous and I have so much I could tell you, but I was between jobs because I moved to a new state. I left my job voluntarily. I didn't have to quit because I was making good money and going to school. But what did I do? Fell in love, moved to another state, trying to get in where I fit in. I started working because I had really good experience, even though I didn't have a degree yet. I got hired almost immediately when I moved to New York. And I got hired as a temp working for an investment bank as a paralegal assistant. After 2 or 3 months, they hired me full time. So I got benefits. I had 401k, I had health insurance, I had the works. And this was maybe a few months before, not 2 months before I gave birth to my first son. It was a 2008 recession. They laid everybody off. And I was in a hot mess because I wasn't saving my money. I had the 401k and the employer match at the time, but I didn't save any money and I had a baby coming. So this is where poor management of funds came in. Poor management of money, not paying attention, not having a budget messed me up. So after the layoff, because of the recession and everything, they did offer to keep me on because I was very pregnant at the time. Everyone could see it. But I rejected their offer and took the severance package, which it was good, but it wasn't enough to take care of a baby coming and everything. So what I ended up doing was I said, okay, I'll have the baby and I'll just look for work after because I want to take time and, have my maternity leave and then I'll look for work. But New York is expensive. New York is very expensive. And the relationship that I was in, that I left all my family and my home for, my job for, and broke my lease for, was done. It was over with. So now I was trying to make it on my own. So I started working at McDonald's. Again, still had creditors chasing after me, still had no bank account. So I had to go to a check cashing place to cash my check every single week when I got paid. And it wasn't much. And I had to rent a room. Like I was going through it and no mother, no auntie, no uncle, nobody to lean on for guidance. So I just kind of pulled myself up by my own bootstraps, as the people would say. And I just started hustling. I started working at a second McDonald's. Whenever I could find somebody to help watch the baby, I would. I was just doing what I could to make ends meet. And then I had an encounter with God. And I started the healing process. This was about 2009, late 2009, 2010. And I started going back to church. I started giving. I started tithing. I started asking questions, talking to people, opening up, saying, look, I need help here. People that I met, like in church or on the job. And things just gradually got better. Like it felt really hard in the moment when like you got to get on food stamps, you got to have WIC because you got this little boy, all the things. And then I was just trying to get my head above water. So these people were helping me. So in 2010, I got hooked up with Primerica. I learned about the business. I got my life insurance license. I started selling life insurance. And let me tell you, that was when things really started to pick up because I saw how important having a solid financial foundation was. And learning all that I learned, it just kept getting better. So, but really, it was a struggle all the way until 2014, when I'm telling you all my business. In 2014, I was really, how old was Jordan? Jordan was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He was 6 years old. I decided that I wanted to start a business going into 2015. I decided that I was going to study and get my property and casualty license, which was hard because it took me several times to pass that exam. And I think it was more anxiety than anything else. I already had experience working in corporate America, again, even without a degree. So my history, my experience is what I think opened up doors for me and by the grace of God, that's just how things worked out. But in 2014, going into 2015, I made a vow that I was going to be better financially. I had life insurance policies that had lapsed before. So the first thing I wanted to do in the new year of 2015 was get a new life insurance policy and make sure that I owned it and I paid attention to the payments. I set up automatic payments. I did everything I could. I started a business. I started selling jewelry online with Chloe and Isabel. I don't know if any of you have heard it. And I created my own website. I really wanted to make a difference because whenever I would look at my son, I said, I have to do this for him. And, you know, when you speak something, when you declare things, when you start saying, this is what I'm going to do, Jordan, please turn it down a little bit. Things start happening. Things start manifesting. Doors start opening. And hey, Inya. Hey, Marcus, what's up? What happened? So this was 2015. I started seeing the fruit because I wanted to make it work. I got my notary public license because I realized that's a really easy way to make money on the side. So that was my second side hustle. For a little while, I was working at McDonald's still, and I was working part-time at an insurance agency until, you know, things got a little better and I started working there full-time. I just wanted to be better at life in general. And my money had to follow suit because I had bills to pay. I wanted to move into an apartment and take care of my kid and just live my life. And I started feeling better because I got the healing I needed. I had chance to, you know, to pray, and people who would, you know, help me through when I needed financially. They helped me by praying for me. Some people gave me, you know, a place to stay. And I'm really grateful for all of those people who were intricate. They were an intricate part of my healing process. And then what happened, my now husband and I were friends, like we were friends in passing. And then, you know, he started reaching out to me and he proposed to me in 2015. Now, mind you, when I started, before I left 2014, I said, I'm going to do all these things and my life is going to be better. I'm going to be better at money. I'm going to run a business. I'm going to do all the things. And then here he comes. It's like God opened up all these doors. And finally, I had a love that was true, that was genuine. And like any relationship that you start, it, you know, it's going to be a little rocky as you get to learn each other. And I still wasn't the best at my money because I had a little, you know, a little toddler budget where I would get a sheet of paper and write down, this is how my check was, this is how much I'm giving, this is how much I need for my Metro card for the week, this is how much the rent is, and then whatever else is just spent. But when I met my husband, and we got married and we combined finances and we, you know, you got to work together. A couple years into the marriage, we said, look, something's not working. And 2019 is when we decided together that we need to tackle the rest of the debt. We need to get on a real grown-up budget and start saving more and doing all of that. So what I did, I just said, okay, let me do it. I've always had the ability, you know, being very detailed, and you know, I just have really strong administrative skills, and my husband saw that and he said, you're going to handle this. We talk, we come together, we agree on, you know, where we're going, and I just execute. And I'm telling you, when we came to that agreement, when I came to the understanding that I really need a grown-up budget, that's when things started to change. And I wanted to have more than $5 in the savings account. So it just kind of kept evolving from there. So when I look back at 2019, I don't know, we had like $25 or something in the savings account. I said, we got to get to 300. If we get to at least 300, then the bank can't charge us any more fees, because I was tired of paying fees. And then, so we did that. That was like our first big milestone. And I was so excited. You would have thought I won the lottery once we finally hit 300. Because that was it. That was the last day I said we were never going to pay another fee for not having enough money in the savings account. And his family was a big help. So I have to shout out to them, my mother-in-law and everybody. They were really helpful because things were kind of challenging. And then going into 2020, I said, as soon as I get my bonus, I'm not going to waste the bonus anymore. I'm going to pay off the credit card. We paid off the credit card. Now, I could go back in history and tell you all about Verizon termination, the collection notices, Calvary portfolio sending me letters, calling me, threatening me. I don't even remember how much. I could have had, very well have had $100,000 worth of debt, but I couldn't tell you the exact number. All I can tell you is things were horrible. It was hard. It was difficult. It was challenging. But by God's grace, we got over it. We got through it. And, you know, that's where it all goes. That's what happened. I took out a care credit card just to get some glasses, and that tore me up. And once I finally realized how much I owed them, I just paid it off one day. Like, I got a letter in the mail, I called it, I said, okay, this is a collection notice. They settled for a certain amount, and I sent it out. That's how I was doing things. And some of the credit cards, because it was more than 7 years, I think some of them had gotten written off. It was a hot mess. So all I can tell you is that my student loans was the one I needed to watch out for. And I shared this before. My student loans were because I had federal loans, and I was so far behind that they started garnishing my tax refunds. For 3 years. They took my tax refunds, and most of it went to interest anyway. But that's how a lot of the loans got paid off, because they took their money and they snatched it right out my hand. So a lot of, like, the figures, the numbers, the interest rates, I don't know. I just know what I was able to do once Great Lakes got a few of the loans that I had. And once I saw that I could actually pay it off, and my husband was like, yeah, let's do this, then I just started making payments. I hear you, Tracy. I felt the same way. I owed the whole world. I owed everybody. I owed Chase money because I overdraft. I owed Bank of America. I owed Wells Fargo. Oh, gosh. I think it was Household Bank was the issuer of a MasterCard. I don't know, but I was a hot mess. I'm sorry. You guys are, like, commenting, and let me see. Dee said toddler budget. Yeah, we had a little baby budget. And I had to grow up out of that and get serious. Overdraft fees are the devil, okay? Because they charge you $35 for not having enough money. And then every day that you go without, or every 2 days, I don't know, every day that you go without money or you have a negative balance, they charge you more. But the bank that I had, I have now, we have it right now, it's TD Bank actually. The savings account that came with the checking, if your balance is not $300 or more every single day, they charge you $15. And I'm telling you, we paid almost $900 in fees one year just because we didn't have enough money. And that's why I don't do bank fees. Nope. I don't do bank fees. That's one of the lessons I learned pretty quick. Never pay a bank fee. Like, they're making money on our money anyway, because they loan it out, they're investing it, and we're getting pennies on the dollar. So why would we give them more money? So I probably talk pretty fast about all of that, but that's my story. That's my HERstory. I was a hot mess. Bank fees suck. I know, Veronica. Inya said, have you tried loan signing agent? No, I haven't, actually. I've heard a lot about it. I know that, oh goodness, what's her name? Oh my goodness. Cassie J, I think she's doing that now. Or a travel notary. I thought about it, but I haven't really come to grips with that yet. I don't know. But being a notary is easy money. Y'all know I like easy money. It's easy. You go in, you take the exam, you pay for your license, and it's good for, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And I have hold on. Sorry, that was a little ghetto, what I just did. But let me see. Notary is so easy. 4 years. So you just take the exam, renew it every 4 years, and you make money just by attesting signatures. I like my life to be as simple and as possible. So a notary was just, the perfect thing for me. Hectoria said you did it, and now you can use your story to inspire others. Amen. Because that's all I really want to do. And, I might not be the most eloquent speaker, but I just share my story and hope somebody can hear something from it, hear something in it, and relate to it, and know that you can do it too. You can get out of debt. You can become better at managing money. You can do it. Even if you don't make a lot of money, even if you know, gain more experience than you did with your degree. And I studied broadcasting, by the way, because broadcast journalism was my major. And that's what I really wanted to do. Go figure. No, I don't sell with Primerica anymore. I learned the ropes. I did it for a couple years, but then I transitioned to a different agency representing a completely different company. But a lot of the principles I learned about wealth building, about finances, I learned through Primerica first. Veronica says, your story is so relatable with me. Fall in love and make stupid mistakes. Yep. Like your mind just gets clouded and all you can see is that person. Even when your life, you let yourself be vulnerable to somebody who's just not in line with where you need to be. Shireen says, I'm usually responsible with money, except that one time I fell in love and maxed out a credit card. Girl, buying trips, going out of the country, trying to look good, do all the stuff. Girl, I might have to see if I have some pictures. They're old stuff. It's not me today. I got to talk to my husband, though, because he might be like, don't put that out there. But I'm telling you, you use your credit card to do stupid things like getting your nails done. I got a tattoo, and that was like, put that on a credit card and then be embarrassed. Do all the things and mess yourself up. I know what you mean, Shireen. I've been there. If you can think it, I probably did it. And I'm so glad that God's grace is sufficient. That's all I'm gonna say about that. They used to charge each transactions to. One time I called my bank and was like, if y'all don't decline these transactions, they should have came out and got their money when it was. Yep, I hated that. Oh my gosh. Like, if your payments are due on the 4th and they take it out on the 6th or something like that, like money was there, but you didn't take it out on time. It's not my fault. And I'm quick to call the bank. Can you refund that overdraft? Because, my check was late or whatever. I would call them all the time. Say, look, please fix this because you're taking money I don't even have. Amen, Veronica. Amen. I'm going back up to see if I missed any statements or questions. Thank you, MT. You're always so supportive. Thank you so much. I mean it. I really do mean that. I thank you so much. Okay, I think I got everything. Hey, Marcus, did I say hi to you before? What's up? Please don't drive and be on your cell phone, Marcus. Too many people get into accidents. That be careful. Hey, Britt. Britt is here. Thank you so much. Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. I'm seeing your comments now. I'm sorry. I was running. My mouth was running a mile a minute. Yeah, credit cards are the worst. And you know why? It's the people who use them. Like sometimes we don't realize how much we are giving our lives to other people when we don't pay attention to our money. Because I paid so much in fees that I feel like it should have been like a part-time job. I'm just giving them my money. Like, come on, I need my money. I'm excited too for the new phase. Okay, my new goals. So I feel like I've been saying this a lot, but our emergency fund is the biggest one because we had to use it so many times in the past few months. But that's the number one for me. I really want to make sure that before we start investing very heavily, before we even because we have some other things on the back end that we can't share yet. But before we start doing those things and sharing it openly, I want to make sure we have enough reserves. And my husband agrees. He's more of the one who's always like, can we save? Can we save? Can we save? And then we are going to invest. Maxing out an IRA next year is our top goal, because I haven't had a chance to do that. And the 401k that I had years ago, I blew that money on God knows what. So definitely the goal is to build the emergency fund, make sure we have enough reserves, because we have children, and there's still a panorama going on. You guys know what's going on out there. So we want to make sure that we have a good enough money set aside in case for emergencies. And then our investing, will really, really pick up. And I want to make sure we can run these businesses, with wisdom and strength. Like right now, his parents, my husband's parents are not here. My parents are not here. So we are depending on each other heavily to take care of these children and manage all the things. Working full time, running business, and YouTube is really fun for me. Honestly, it is such a great outlet. So I think that is a goal where we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to be profitable. It's not going to be time wasting. It's actually going to do something that brings hope to people, brings joy to people, inspiration, but also, again, being profitable. So we just have to find a balance between all of the things. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Hey, Aaron. Okay, Shireen says, good. Well, okay. I don't know what time it is in Australia, but right now it's 8:45 p.m. I think I need to plug up the computer. Shireen says, how were you and your now husband able to come together and combine your finances without challenges? My husband's finances are a hot mess. We still keep everything separate after almost 3 years married. My husband used to work where he worked before. He would take all the money and he would save it for the rent, and he would only give it to me at the beginning of the month to pay the rent, because he didn't want the money getting commingled with anything else. And that was before things got so weird after March 2020. That was way before then. So I would go to work. Starbucks was my best friend. Popeyes, all the little places. Target was my best friend. So I would just be swipe happy, buying things and doing things. And he's like, I don't want this to happen. But what happened is I had to change. I had to realize that, again, I need that adult budget. I need to pay attention to where the money is going, because I don't want at the end of the month when we get the bank statement or we look at the account, we don't have enough to take care of the first week of bills in the month, because at the beginning of the month there's rent, there's probably car insurance, there's a whole lot of things due. I don't want to be scraping the bottom of our barrel or looking for coins somewhere trying to pay the bills. So I decided that I needed to change. And I think, I don't know, every relationship, every marriage is different. But when I decided to make a change and start budgeting out spending money, how much I'm going to pay, how much I need to pay for parking, stuff like that, and also paying attention to what I was bringing in on the side with the notary and with the jewelry and all of that, then my husband said, okay, we're gonna let you do the administrative part. And then we started combining the finances. So sometimes you just have to be like, okay, humble yourself and say, okay, I'm going to make a change. And then when that happens, then your spouse, your partner will start to see, okay, then let me follow suit. It wasn't easy, because there were many nights of arguments, silent treatment. But again, one person has to be willing to make a sacrifice or humble yourself and just say, okay, let's come at this a different way. And we've been married 2016. I got to count on my fingers, 5 years this year. And once he saw that the savings was going up, like we were really saving more. I started with $5 a week. Hold on, I have to plug in my computer because it says my battery's low. I'm coming right back. Where is it? Once he saw that the savings was increasing, we hit like our first $1,500. He was like, oh, okay. And he saw the proof. He saw me changing. He saw me making an effort. And, that's when things, were very, very different. Some marriages, I've seen people who they don't combine their finances. They do it separately. I think Marlene and her husband, she shares it on her channel openly. They budget. Their money is separate, but they still come to an agreement about certain things. Like she still shares his budget, but there's a mutual understanding, and they just, work from it. Sometimes men need to see it, though. Honestly, men need to see this is what this is what's happening. This is the positive, side of things. I see the money growing. I see the increase in the savings. I see that we have more money at the end of the month now, and then they're like, okay, I'm with you. Um, 10:45 a.m. on Saturday. Hey, from the future. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Now I want to watch that movie. Oh my gosh. We have to see Back to the Future now. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I feel like I might unplug the wrong thing. It's the light. I don't know what that is. Oh, I can't believe you all are still here listening to me chat and ramble on. My husband is very much a numbers person like me, so that is what was necessary to get and keep us on the same page. Yep. I'm glad. Yep. That's exactly it. And let me tell you, when we had our car, when we had the van, I had to drive, and I had to be responsible about where I parked the car. I got so many tickets. My husband almost, look, he's not a light person, and he's my sexual chocolate, okay? He used to, I swear that man was turning red, honestly. Like, what is this? I would get so many tickets. And it's not because I was careless. It's just because it was challenging. It was hard because, I had to travel far sometimes, and then you didn't want to be late for work. But the tickets were insane. And then again, we live in New York, so it is very, very expensive to park, let alone live here. So when he saw this, that something has to give. And again, one spouse has to be willing to change. That's all. Tracy, I used to do the same thing back a couple years ago when I think we really didn't have a lot in our checking account. We didn't have any cushion or buffer or anything like that. I would be in Popeyes hoping and praying that this $5 meal, this charge would go through, swiping the debit card, because I was spending all the time. And my husband, he's the frugal one. He'll say, take your lunch, pack your lunch, and take your snacks. Don't just, keep going to Popeyes and Starbucks every day. So I know what you mean. I hope I answered your question. I hope I helped you a little bit, Shireen. Yeah. I got so hot just talking. So from my early 20s, I learned my lesson. I stopped feeling bad, like feeling sorry for myself and feeling embarrassed about my childhood, my background. Like listen, the generation before me, even two before me, I think they kept a lot hidden. They kept a lot to themselves. I don't know if it was fear of being exposed. I don't know what it was, but you can't keep things covered up all the time. You have to deal with it so you can get the healing that you need. Like if you're not feeling well, at some point you may have to see your physician. You may have to go to the doctor, get checked out just to see what's going on. It's the same thing with your life in general, with whatever heart issues, challenges. it's always a good idea to just confront those things, deal with them, because they affect every area of your life. And for me, it really did a number on my finances. So that's really where it all started. I started with not being able to communicate about what was going on with me and all of that. And then just eventually something had to give and something had to shift. And that was me getting the healing I needed. And then just things change, you know, when you want the change. I wanted the change. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be healed. I wanted to be whole. So because I wanted to be whole, it opened up the space and the doors for me to get what I needed because I wanted it. If you want to be better with your money, if you want to build wealth, even if you don't make a whole lot of money, I'm telling you, if you're not an attorney, a lawyer, if you're not, you know, you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Anybody heard that growing up? You weren't born with no silver spoon in your mouth. Like if you didn't come into wealth, if you weren't born into it, you can still create it. It's going to be challenging. You're going to have to deal with a lot, but if you want it, you can have it. You can get it, because I know a lot of people here may not have the same faith as me, but God says, you know, he gave us the ability, the power to get wealth. That means we have what it takes. We just have to seek out the source and make the change, create the habits to get there. And I don't know if I'm going to see a lot of what I want to see in my lifetime, but maybe I will see it in my children or my grandchildren. And hopefully they can continue, you know, building on top of what we're building so that they can be better than we are, and be a people who are not afraid to be a little bit vulnerable sometimes and say, you know what, this hurt me and I need to deal with this. Because when we don't deal with things like in our emotions and things that happen, I'm telling you, it affects your physical body, it affects your mental health. So you gotta deal with the stuff, the junk, the everything. Parent issues, sibling issues, whatever it is, you have to deal with it, because once you do, come on, you can pay off debt in a year with one income, like stuff like that. Like I see people with amazing testimonies who share on YouTube that, listen, they grew up in poverty. They grew up, you know, food stamps, government cheese, stuff like that. And now they're borderline millionaires, or they are millionaires, and they're making it happen. And those are the examples that I think we should follow and listen to, because we may not be able to take everything from one person's story, but just that little bit of inspiration should be enough to motivate you to, you know, to push ahead and deal with your heart challenges. Make sure you make space to heal so that your money won't be funny. You can actually make a plan and stick to it, no matter how tedious it might seem, no matter how boring or what's the word? I don't want to say redundant. What's the word? I can't even think of it. You know, you might be doing the same thing over and over again, but if it's producing results, keep doing that. And I'm telling you, it's going to work. It's going to work. Yet, Veronica, yes, the silver spoon, just like the things aren't given to you on a silver plate. Or somebody used to say to me, you ain't DuPont, something like that. I think it was some famous, like, wealthy family and stuff like that. Listen, money don't grow on trees, you know, stuff like that. Fun and budget with I love her channel. I've been watching repetitive, Shireen, thank you, because I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I love Tanisha, Veronica. Yeah. When I started watching her, it was probably last year. So I'm sure she has a whole lot of videos on there from years ago that I haven't seen, but I really enjoy watching her channel. Mommy Trader says, had the same experience with my past. Yeah. And somebody out there is waiting to hear how you overcame. Like, to me, in today's society, a lot of people are still kind of afraid to let go of what hurt them, or to even open up and be honest about it. But sometimes you sharing your story might help somebody else with their life. And that's how I feel like you should just Sometimes you just got to forget that. As long as you're doing it with wisdom, like you're not just putting information out there that could harm you or your family, but whenever there is something that you dealt with in your life that you overcame, or even if you're overcoming, if you're making progress, share it, because you don't know who else might benefit from it. Yeah. So I have talked for a very long time. We've been here almost an hour, 50 minutes now. And 10 people are still here. So that's just amazing. That is just amazing. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. You know, I would shout you out. I would shout you out. So I hope I didn't miss anybody. And I just want you to know that I love you guys. And I appreciate you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Letting go sets you free of so many emotional chains. That's true. That's true. I get emotional. Yep. And listen, you don't want to take some of those things into your relationships, into your marriage, into, you know, your parent-child relationships. You know what I'm saying? Whether you birth them or you adopt them or whatever have you, you want to make sure that you can live a healthy, full life. You know? Yep. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Hugs and love. I'm reading the comments, you guys, as they come through. And I don't know if there's a delay between what I'm seeing and what I'm saying. So I'm probably going to cut off because we've been here almost an hour. So thank you so much for being here. If you guys see this video posted on my channel, please don't forget to thumbs up the video. It really, really helps the channel. And thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for your congratulations, for you know, everything. I really appreciate you guys interacting with me. And yeah, I love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys in the next one. I think I had some issues with the video that's supposed to post tomorrow. So hopefully it posts, and I'll see you guys, or I'll chat with you guys then. So good night, everybody. Bye.